Hello students, a very warm welcome to the IAShub. Very good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. So namaste, Andarki. We'll start with today's session, that is geography. अगर आपके पास कोई भी doubts हो, you know the drill, you can post it into the comment section and I'll be addressing your doubts. So मैं class start करने से पहले I wanted to brief you on few aspects. That is, if you have any doubts, you can post your comments in the comment section. I'll be addressing them. This is number one. Number two, ये जो भी handout मैं use कर रहा हूँ, what you can do is you can download this handout and I want you to keep this handout with you. For that, what you can do is you can directly go to the IAShub website and उस IAShub website से भी download कर सकते हो, या नीचे दिए हुए link, एक लिंक दिया है डिस्क्रिप्शन में, फ्रॉम दैट डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑल्सो यू कैन गो एंड डाउनलोड दैट. एक व्हाट्सएप लिंक दिया होगा, यू कैन प्रेस देयर, फ्रॉम दैट यू कैन डाउनलोड. राइट, सो देयर आर टू वेज. वन, यू कैन गो टू द प्रीलिम्स क्रैश कोर्स. You can type right. This is one way. You can go to this prelims crash course and here you can go to the free resources. From here you can get the prelims high output themes. यहाँ से आप download कर सकते हो, or else नीचे below the YouTube link itself there are some links that are given. From that links you can download. Right. So आज का agenda क्या है? Let me tell you first. Today's agenda is to understand one of the major important theme, and every year इस theme से at least 2 or 3 questions are asked in the UPSC examination. And these are low hanging fruits, but to get these fruits one need to have a clear cut conceptual clarity. ठीक है, जब तक आपको conceptual clarity नहीं है तब तक ये solve करना काफी मुश्किल है, मैं मानता हूँ. And this is one such subject, geography, which will give you very very high yield. ठीक है, and this geography acts as a bridge between other subjects as well. First, suppose the topics that we are going to deal today is number 1, solar system के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, and we'll also study about the components of the solar system, and little later I'll take you to the concepts of interior of the earth. और इस interior of the earth के लिए we also have a revision card. Let me show you this revision card also first. Just a minute. At the end of this document you will be given couple of pages. जो भी इस document में है सारे एक जगह revise करने के लिए एक जरिया है. And here you will have this revision card. From this revision card we will be revising our content as well. So you have 3 revision cards. One revision card on the interior of the earth, and the second revision card is on the rotation and revolution of the earth, because there is one question on this also. There's one question every year on the interior of the earth, be it P waves, S waves, or one or the other way, there is directly or indirectly questions are asked. Right. Next you'll have another revision card. ये handwritten content है, काफी easy way में, काफी crisp manner में सारा content एक पेज के अंदर put किया गया. Now, for you to understand this, you need to have that conceptual clarity. वो जो conceptual clarity है, I'll be giving you. So इस session is going to be near about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And in this session, trust me, this is the most important time that you're going to spend in your prelims preparation. I'll make sure that ये आने वाले जो 90 से लेकर 120 minutes है, these are the most productive hours or most productive time that you're going to put for geography for prelims. Trust me, stay with me till the end of this particular session. You will understand the crystal clear conceptual clarity of these topics. आपको दोबारा मुड़ के ये सारे चीज समझने की जरूरत नहीं है. I'll make sure as simple as it. ठीक है, उसके अलावा आपको क्या करना चाहिए, ये जो टॉपिक्स आपको समझने के बाद आप हमारा हैंडआउट से यू कीप ऑन रिवाइजिंग मल्टीपल नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स, एंड द मोर द रिविजन्स यू डू, इट बिकम्स मोर द इजियर फॉर यू टू सॉल्व द क्वेश्चंस. अलोंग विद दिस यू हैव एन अनदर रिविजन कार्ड, दैट इज प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स. ये पहले भी हमने एक वीडियो भी बनाया था इसके ऊपर, एंड विल ऑल्सो बी डिस्कसिंग दिस. सो ये जो भी टॉपिक्स है सारे इंटरलिंक्ड है. नाउ इंटरलिंकिंग कंटेंट इज वन थिंग दैट इफ यू स्टडी the origin and evolution of the atmosphere or origin and evolution of the Big Bang theory, then you will understand the atmosphere. Now once you understand the atmosphere, then things will become very easy for you to understand the climatology topics. लाइकवाइज ये सारी जो टॉपिक्स है आने वाले 4-5 दिन में हम जो कुछ भी करने वाले सारे इंटरलिंक्ड है, ठीक है। सो ये जो इंटरलिंकिंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स के लिए आपको कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी की जरूरत है, and I'll be giving you that conceptual clarity. Just hold on, stay with me for next 1.5 hour. Okay, we'll be starting with today's class. So our agenda is to understand the interior of the earth and the solar system as well as plate tectonics तक भी पहुंचने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे आज, right? So before I start, let me look into the chat box. Any doubts you can post it here. Okay, now the first concept that we will be dealing with is solar system. इससे पहले let me also show you what are the areas the UPSC is asking the questions. देखो पिछले 10 साल में अगर देखा गया, you will find that the total number of questions that have been asked in these particular areas is on the topics of number 1, Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory is one of the famous and most important topic for UPSC. एंड बिग बैंग थियरी के ऊपर जो क्वेश्चंस पूछा गया ना, दे आस्क्ड क्वेश्चंस ऑन कॉस्मिक माइक्रोवेव बैकग्राउंड के ऊपर क्वेश्चन पूछा गया. दे आस्क्ड अ क्वेश्चन ऑन सिंगुलैरिटी. दो सिंगुलैरिटी इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, बट द बेसिक्स आर इन ज्योग्राफी. We'll try to understand this Big Bang theory in a lucid manner. Then there are questions on asteroids, comets, meteors, dwarf planets के बारे में. बट लेकिन आने वाले टाइम पीरियड पे जो क्वेश्चंस एक्सपेक्टेड है, that is if you are going to Big Bang theory का evidences. For example, you understand पिछले 2 साल के अंदर whatever the explorations that we have done in the space in the name of the research that we are doing in, the research is primarily done through observations. ये observe करने के लिए in the recent times we have sent the Hubble telescope, right? James Webb Hubble telescope is the one source which is actually finding out the evidences for the Big Bang theory. Now what are the mechanisms that are involved in identifying the Big Bang theory evidences? वो हमें जानना चाहिए. That is nothing but redshift and blue shift. We'll also be looking into these two, right? Because ये समझना काफी जरूरी है. And solar flares, sunspots, every year there are some news articles on that. So ये एरिया काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. इसके अलावा जियोमैग्नेटिक स्टॉर्म्स ऑल्सो, बिकॉज सैटेलाइट डिस्ट्रप्शंस आर क्वाइट कॉमन इन द रिसेंट टाइम्स बिकॉज ऑफ द जियोमैग्नेटिक स्टॉर्म्स. पिछले 3 महीने के अंदर अगर न्यूज करंट अफेयर्स आर्टिकल्स भी देखा जाए, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट जियोमैग्नेटिक स्टॉर्म्स इज वन ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. एंड अलॉन्ग विद दिस लैग्रेंज पॉइंट्स L1, L2, L3, L4, L5 ये सब पीयूष सर डील करेंगे आपको इन दी साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, बट यू विल अंडरस्टैंड द बेस हियर. नेक्स्ट, Iceland's earthquake also I'll be dealing it, because earthquakes इस साल काफी important है दोबारा, क्योंकि in a matter of 24 hours you got near about 1500 plus earthquakes in Iceland, and finally that earthquakes has led to the evolution of the volcanic material. So how are earthquakes related to volcanism? Volcanism related earthquakes, there can be question on this, and especially urban volcanism एक नई टॉपिक है वो मेंस के लिए, बट लेकिन हम यहाँ पे confine करेंगे इस एरिया को करंट अफेयर्स की, and linking it with most expected themes as well as most repeated themes के through. So I hope you got the agenda for today's classroom, and in today we'll start with the first concept, that is solar system. Everyone knows something or the other about the solar system. बचपन में हमने ये सुना, twinkle twinkle little star. Everyone knows this little rhyme, but we are going to use that rhyme and try to understand what exactly is Big Bang theory. जब आप बिग बैंग थियरी पढ़ते हो तभी आपको समझ में आएगा व्हाट इज द ओरिजिन ऑफ द यूनिवर्स, हाउ डिड दिस टेक प्लेस, राइट? सो लेट अस क्विकली गो टू दिस कंटेंट फर्स्ट. लेट मी शो यू. You see this solar system, right? In the solar system, if you have to define what is solar system, and I want this session to be little more interactive also. आप अपना comment section में comments डाल सकते हो. You can type your comments there. If I ask you any question, I want you to comment in the comment section. Then it becomes quite easy for us to interact well, right? इससे काफी आसान से समझ में आएगा. देखिए, solar system is something which you might have come across, but लेकिन कई कम लोग हैं जो witness किया इसको. Solar system consists of your sun and its planets, and our sun is part of a Milky Way galaxy. Like that, you have multiple number of galaxies in the space, but we have to confine ourselves to certain extent. We have to read about the sun. We should also read about little knowledge about the planets, and we have to also understand what is Kuiper belt, we also need to understand what is asteroid belt. Now beyond Kuiper belt, recent time में current affairs में एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जो green comet नाम से आया था. We'll also try to understand what is that green comet, right? So beyond Kuiper belt, what do you get to see and what are the spaceships that have been there? क्योंकि ये सब current affairs में है तो हम कोशिश करेंगे ये सब समझने के लिए. So this is your solar system. Your solar system has 8 planets, along with that n number of comets and n number of asteroids which are rotating or revolving around the sun, right? But mera question ye hai, how did the formation of planets took place? How did the formation of the sun took place? How did the formation of the asteroids took place and comets took place? This is what you need to know. So see, Vidit says that's a group of planets orbiting around the star. That's a very good way of defining Vidit. And Pavani says, sir, system of planets and their energy source as the sun. Okay, one or the other way it is defined in such. I agree to you, Pavani. Now let's try to understand this. First, the content that is given to you is, it is said that what is sun, it is already written here. And iske baad, if you look into size of the solar system is written here, and then origin of the solar system. So we directly jump into the concepts of the origin of the solar system. How did this origin take place? Now to understand this origin, you definitely need to have an understanding about one theory that is known as Big Bang theory. देखो यार, prelims के लिए ये काफी important है. Now in this Big Bang theory, I also want you to write down these keywords next to the content or wherever you are making that notes, because ये काफी आपको help करेगा in solving the questions. Now with respect to Big Bang theory, you need to know these keywords. 1, cosmic microwave background, red shift, blue shift. Now these two are considered to be evidences. Along with that, you also need to know the concept of singularity. ये सारे चीज आपका हैंडआउट में दिया हुआ, बट लेकिन आई एम राइटिंग द कीवर्ड्स एट वन सिंगल प्लेस, सो यू कैन ऑल्सो हैव दैट हैंडी. जब भी आप ये कीवर्ड्स प्रीलिम्स में देखते हो ना, यू कैन डायरेक्टली लिंक इट विद द बिग बैंग थियरी, राइट? सो लुक हियर. नेक्स्ट, you also need to have an idea about what do you mean by degassing, accreditation, right? So these are some of the keywords that are associated with the Big Bang theory. Now let me tell you, Big Bang theory is the reason why the evolution of the solar system and the universe is being understood. देखो ऐसा नहीं है, there are many number of theories, and these many number of theories try to tell us what exactly is the origin of this universe. But लेकिन उनमें से the most accepted theories are your Big Bang theory. So that's why we give this credit to this Big Bang, right? Now come back, see here. In order to understand this Big Bang theory, let me tell you, earlier it is said that our entire universe was confined to a very tiny single point. ठीक है? And that point on one fine day took a blast. And from that blast, every matter, energy, time, space, you name it, it has evolved from that. In simple terms, if I have to tell you, you need to have an understanding about singularity. Can anyone try to define what do you mean by singularity? I'll be waiting for 10 seconds. You can comment the concept of singularity in the comment section. What do you mean by singularity? आपको पता है singularity क्या होता है? Singularity is a place where, or a situation where, or a condition where you will find infinite density, so you will have infinite density. Now infinite density of what? Infinite density of material. Along with infinite density, you have the mass is also very infinite, and tiny volume. These are some of the conditions of the singularity. ठीक है? So I know बहुत सारे लोग को ये अभी तक ये समझ नहीं आ रहा है, but trust me, hold with me for another 10 to 15 minutes, you will get this concept. See, in order to understand this Big Bang theory in simple terms, imagine that we are sitting in a classroom, और इस classroom के अंदर there are 5 around 100 odd students, but लेकिन मुझे ये idea आया, I want to make this classroom fill with another 300 students. So what happens to the temperature of the classroom? The temperature increases, right? Likewise, what happens to the pressure in the classroom? It increases. But I have decided that in the same classroom, I wanted to add near about 1000 plus students in this classroom. So what happens to this classroom? It will be, the size of the classroom is same, but the total number of students who are there in this classroom, they have increased. Because of that, the density of the classroom increases. Likewise, the temperature in the classroom increases. Volume देखो, volume तो इतना ही है, ठीक है? Now imagine I am going to put in another 5000 plus students into this classroom. What happens? Temperature increase होगा, volume उतना ही है, density क्या होगा? Increase होगा, right? Now imagine the city in which you are staying or the country in which you are staying, no matter what, in one or the other form, you have decided that you are going to make all the people, all the objects in that particular area to break it, mold it, and then bring that content into this small classroom. What happens? You'll get to know that this is one such area जहाँ पर इनका density क्या होगा? The density is infinite. Mass क्या होगा? Infinite. Temperature क्या होगा? वो भी ज़्यादा होगा. Now imagine you have n number of planets, right? You have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Now imagine all of these planets are merged in such a way that all the materials are clubbed together, crumbled together, and there is one such kind of material which is as tiny as this dot. इतना छोटा dot हो गया, right? Now what will be the temperature of this particular dot? You know that the temperature is infinite, right? Along with this, what will be the density of this material or this particular point? It is infinite. So volume, tiny volume. देखो इस पॉइंट को कहा जाता है सिंगुलैरिटी. जब ये कॉन्सेप्ट आपको समझ में आया that our Big Bang theory came out from this concept of singularity, one fine day what happened was, due to the reasons that we do not know, even the scientists do not know why this particular point blasted out. जब ये blast हुआ था, so this blast took place in such a way that the entire material which was there, it spread out. ये जो spread हुआ था, it went on spreading and the temperature was very huge. इतना ज़्यादा temperature था, it was near about 3 lakh plus degrees Celsius, right? Now why did the blast took place? We do not know, right? So, but our scientific research says that there is a concept called singularity. Singularity तो था, लेकिन blast हुआ, ये क्यों हुआ हमें नहीं पता. Now this particular blast is called as Big Bang. Now when did this happen? This happened 13.6 billion years ago. हमें कैसे पता? ये 13 billion years पहले हुआ था. That is through the process of nothing but it is your, we study the evidences in the form of this cosmic microwave background. मतलब कुछ microwaves radiation जो हुआ था, जब blast हुआ, that kind of radiation is still there in the space. जब ये radiation space में होगा, we are studying that radiation through cosmic microwave background. And then we use the technique of red shift and blue shift. ये क्या है मैं थोड़ी देर में आके समझाऊंगा मैं आपको, ठीक है? अब पिछले साल यूपीएससी इसके बारे में क्वेश्चन पूछा. इससे पहले साल there is a question that is asked on this, and earlier you see there was a question that was asked on the concept of singularity. ठीक है? In the further time period I will also make sure to solve these questions in this classroom itself. Okay, यहाँ तक समझ में आया? तो just say yes to me so that I can move further. Now, why did this blast took place? We do not know, but there was a blast, and because of that blast, we call this as Big Bang. And this Big Bang, after it took place, it gave rise to the concepts of 4 fundamental entities. Now what are the 4 fundamental entities जो बिग बैंग पे बाद आ गया था, लेकिन बिग बैंग से पहले नहीं था? That is nothing but when the big bang took place, you got to see matter, energy, you got to see time. ठीक है, matter, energy, time, and now you get to see space. ठीक है, and initially when this big bang took place, the temperature was so hot, it was so hot that the entire material was in the form of a cloud. ठीक है, वो ट्रांसपेरेंट नहीं था. अगर आप और हम आगे, मे बी वी माइट बी फेसिंग ईच अदर फ्रॉम 20 to 30 meters away from each other, we will not be able to see each other because the particular space is not transparent. 3 लाख साल के बाद ये स्पेस ट्रांसपेरेंट होने लगा. जैसे ही ट्रांसपेरेंट होने लगा तब मैटर बनना शुरू हुआ था. मैटर इज नथिंग बट this stencil is a matter, this particular shirt is a matter, any equipment that you are using, that is a matter. That means the hot elements which are there, they got to cool down. Now once they start to cool down, the material started to form. इस टाइम पे और भी कुछ चीजें हो रहा था. क्या? जो एग्जाम के लिए हमें जो इंपॉर्टेंट है, that is nothing but when this blast took place, this full of space, endless space बना. उसके बाद you got to see the time. The concept of time also came at this point of time. Then came the energy, then came the matter. That means before Big Bang, there is no concept of matter, energy. This itself can be a preliminary question, जो expected question है. अब when initially this took place, यहाँ पे क्या हुआ था? You will also get to learn that first 3 lakh years तक it was so hot, and after that it started to cool down in a very drastic manner, and the atmosphere became transparent. जब ये transparent हुआ था, you got to see the matter being formed, condensation हो रहा था. अब देखो यहाँ पे और भी कुछ चीजें हो रहा था उस टाइम पे. That is nothing but here the keywords that I have written you, that is accretion, spinning. देखिए, now imagine each white dot here is the material or the cloud which has been formed because of the blast. Ab all this material, they started to condense. Now what do you mean by condensation? It is simply that imagine these are the space matters. So they started to come together, right? Now when they started to come together, imagine this part of the region, all the material that is found there, they came together, right? And like this, every material that is there on the space, when they started to come together, this particular process is called as accretion. ठीक है, ये होगा accretion. Now because of this accretion, many space particles, they started to combine together. Once they combined, this turned out to be your stars. ठीक है, दे आर बर्निंग गैसेस. हाइड्रोजन है, हीलियम है, उसके अंदर हाइड्रोजन है, हीलियम है, other gases are also there, but they are dominant gases. Now because of that, your stars formation took place. Or like this, if you go deep into this, each unit is considered to be a star. Stars bana, in and around stars, there are formation of planets that took place. But every object that is present in this particular space was rotating because there is no gravity. ठीक है, and they are accreting also. Accretion मतलब सारे material इकट्ठा आ रहा था. उसके साथ साथ अगर आप देखते हो, they also tend to form galaxies. Now what do you mean by galaxy? Galaxy is nothing but collection of stars. Like this, many number of stars formed. You will see that twinkle twinkle little star. It is one star. The nearest star is your sun. ठीक है, sun has 8 planets and n number of its gravity के अंदर ऑट क्लाउड भी है. मैं समझा दूंगा क्या है ऑट क्लाउड. एस्ट्रॉइड्स भी है, कॉमेट्स भी है, मून भी है, बहुत सारे हैं. सो लाइक दैट, इमेजिन these are n number of stars that have been formed. Now within the stars, imagine that this is a star. ठीक है, ये एक स्टार है, और इस स्टार इट इज ऑल्सो रोटेटिंग, क्योंकि ग्रेविटी and there is no फ्रिक्शन जब भी नहीं होगा, हर एक चीज रोटेट होते रहता है. बिकॉज ऑफ दिस रोटेशन व्हाट हैपेंड, इट हैज थ्रू आउट सर्टेन एलिमेंट्स अगेन. ठीक है, imagine this is your sun or this is a star. The star, while it is rotating, it has threw out some material from its own body, and that materials, when they are thrown out, again the process of accretion was taking place. What is accretion? All the materials were coming together, they are condensing, and they coalesced together to form planets. I don't want to go too much into details of the formations of this because there are no questions that are asked and you cannot expect further in this process. इसीलिए I'll be giving you a brief here. और इसके आगे जो प्रोसेस है, प्रोसेसेस के ऊपर क्वेश्चन जरूर पूछा जाएगा. हमने एक प्रोसेस एक्रेडिशन के बारे में पढ़ा, and differentiation also you need to understand. Now while they are rotating, there is a concept of accretion as well as differentiation. Now what do you mean by differentiation here? See, जो भी चीज rotate हो रहा है, here you get to see differentiation and accretion. Accretion means coming together. Differentiation means the heavier material is always in the center and the lighter material is moved away from. ठीक है? So for example, imagine this is your sun. Sun has thrown out certain material and all this material is moving around the sun, and like that, imagine this is your earth. ठीक है? Let us go to earth. This earth, initially when it has been formed, ये सारे planetesimals था. Planetesimals मतलब जो product है, जो material है, that material started to accrete together and it has cleared its own orbit. I'll explain what are these also. Just be patient for another 15-20 minutes. अब देखो, this is your earth. Now within the earth also, the heavier materials which are there, they started to move to the center, right? And the lighter materials are on the above. This particular process is called as differentiation, right? So ये जो differentiation है, you will also get to see in our solar system at individual level of planet also, at an greater level, that is your entire solar system also. For example, let's see our solar system. So you know that there is a solar system and this is our solar system, and in the solar system जो heavy materials है, or else the heavy objects which are there, they are none other than your Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. These are called as rocky planets. Now you might be thinking, sir, ये तो बहुत बड़ा दिख रहा है, right? See, in fact, the size of these planets, they are way bigger, but लेकिन उनकी जो density है बहुत कम है. कैसे? क्योंकि these are lighter. These are lighter and these are heavier. So I told you, the process of differentiation you also get to see within any planet that is rotating or revolving. You will get to see that differentiation process on them. That means जो heavier material है, they were near to the sun, and the lighter material है, they moved far away from the sun. That means differentiation is also seen within the planets and the solar system. Differentiation is also seen when you look into the earth. Even on the earth, at an individual level also, if you see, the center of the earth is always heavier and its density is too high. And when you live on the surface where you live, they are nothing but very lighter material. ठीक है? आगे interior of the earth में आपको ये समझ में आएगा why the Sial or Sima, why the lithosphere density is less as compared to the core density, right? So I hope. Now Swati has asked, sir, the way we say that earth is a result of differential heating of the elements. Yes, differential heating of the elements. थोड़ी time रुक जाओ, I'll explain you this in a further time period. Just be patient for another 20 minutes. I'll be there. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? I hope you guys understood whatever I have taught you here, right? So we'll be moving little more further. And clear है? So are you clear about the concept of singularity? क्या होता है? ये आपको समझ में आया? Degassing, I'll explain you. Accretion क्या होता है? You got to learn. Spinning is nothing but any body that is not being objected by the friction that will start to spin. So initially all the celestial bodies मतलब जितने भी material that is there in the space, it started to spin around itself because there is no friction that can stop them. And the concept of matter, energy, time and space, they also came after the Big Bang theory. Right? Kitna space hai? There is endless space that has been formed after the Big Bang theory. Now what is the time? Endless time. How do you calculate the time? You can say that astronomical units. Now what is that astronomical units? It is nothing but the distance that you calculate. Okay? And so the four major components that you got to see is matter, energy, time and space. Right? अब ये सब चीज आपको बार बार रिवाइज करना चाहिए. Now coming back to the formation of other elements such as Kuiper belt में क्या होता है, what do you see in the asteroid belt, and what are the planets which are called as inner planets, which planets are called as outer planets, ये सब भी आपको जानना चाहिए. Right? So before I move any further, अगर आपको कोई doubts हो तो आप comment section में डाल दीजिए अपना doubts. I'll be taking up the doubts. Now Ankit Bharadwaj says that, sir, universe was formed 13.6 billion years ago, but the radius of the universe is 45 billion light years. So does that means that the speed of the expansion of the universe is greater than the speed of the light? That's a very, very good question, Ankit Bharadwaj. I'll address this question once I come to the evidences. Okay, speed of the light is faster, or is it, he asked a question that, does this mean that the speed of the expansion of the universe is greater than the speed of the light? See, as the universe expands, the light also expands. ठीक है, आपको ये जानना चाहिए एक चीज, जितने भी celestial bodies है ना, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all these planets, they do not have their light. They get the light from the sun and they reflect the light. They all either reflect or they refract these lights. That's it. ठीक है, I'll come back to address this. Now we'll try to understand further more topics. अभी आपको ये जान गया. Now these are called as inner planets and these are outer planets. Now why they are called inner planets, why they are called outer planets, let us try to understand. Because these planets are rocky in nature, because they are heavier. Initially when the sun has formed, sun started to throw out gases. Now because of that gases and because of the solar flares, anything and everything that was there on the surface of the earth, once it started to cool, its atmosphere has been washed away. So that means the bare rocks that were there on the Mercury, Venus, Mars, ये जो जितने भी planets है which are inside the asteroid belt, their rocks have been exposed. And over a period, atmosphere has been formed. Now, how atmosphere has been formed, we'll be learning in the tomorrow's class. That is nothing but your atmosphere topic के अंदर हम पढ़ेंगे. Now, here, that's why they are considered to be rocky planets, and these rocks are exposed. Their density is high. They are near to the sun because of the process of differentiation के कारण जितने भी heavy material है वो sun के पास था, क्योंकि all the material that you get to see here, they are nothing but the products of the sun, the remnants of the sun. Sun, while it is rotating, it has thrown away some materials outside, and those materials over a period of time, with accretion and with spinning, they tend to form these planets. Right? Lighter elements were far away, heavier elements were near to this, and this is your differentiation you already got to see. Now let's try to go a little more further and try to understand. See here, you got to see Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. These are inner planets. And inner planets का characteristics क्या है? ये आपकी material में दिया हुआ. Let's try to understand this. See here. So what are the inner planets? Inner planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. Outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Jupiter, these are gaseous, and Uranus and Neptune, these are ice dominated, and these are rocks dominated planets. ठीक है? So inner planets small and rocky, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, ये क्या है? छोटा है and they are rocky. Solid surface होगा, and what do you get to see on the other side? They are large and they are made up of gases. ठीक है? Solid surface you'll get to see in the Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Then here no solid surface, they are all gases. अब एक स्टूडेंट ने एक बार मेरे से ये क्वेश्चन पूछा, सर ये सारे गैसेस प्लैनेट है. फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स कंसिडर दैट दीज प्लैनेट्स आर गैसेस. सो इफ बाय चांस इफ आई थ्रो एन एलिमेंट, ठीक है, if by chance if I throw anything into these planets, will my planet or will that object be passing through that particular planet? See, look here. So one question is that these are rocky in nature. Maybe you throw some object that might hit the rock, but outer planets say that these are gases. So if I throw an object, will it pass through this planet? So what's the answer? If I throw a particular object and hit the earth, अर्थ के पास सॉलिड मटेरियल है, रॉकी है, तो अर्थ के ऊपर वो पत्थर जाके गिरेगा, और एल्स इट विल गो एंड हिट दैट रॉक ऑफ द अर्थ. बट आई सेड दीज आर गैसेस इन नेचर. ठीक है? नाउ दीज गैसेस प्लैनेट्स, इफ आई थ्रो दैट मटेरियल, विल इट पास फ्रॉम वन साइड टू अनदर साइड? नो. देखो वो सब तो गैसेस है, बट लेकिन द डेंसिटी ऑफ द गैसेस इज वेरी वेरी हाई. It's not like that. And the core of these materials which are there, or the core of the either Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, that is so hot. आज भी, ठीक है? Even those gases are there, but the gases are very very hot. Okay, come back. Now see, inner planets का density high है और इनका density low है. They are closely spaced orbits. The orbits are very closely spaced. Here the orbits are separated orbits. मतलब दूर दूर है इनके orbits. Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars जो है काफी नजदीक है. Now they are having few moons, but you look into Jupiter and Saturn, they have many number of moons. Do they have rings? No. You have rings here. Now what are these rings? Those rings are nothing but they are none other than the dust. ठीक है? जितने भी डस्ट है, द डस्ट इज नथिंग बट योर रिंग्स दैट इज मेड अप ऑफ गैसेस एंड डस्ट सेल्फ. नेक्स्ट, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. I hope now you got to understand this. What are inner planets and outer planets, the characteristics of inner planets and outer planets. Yes? Okay. With this, what we'll do is, we'll move further. एक बार अपना हैंडआउट देख लेते. हैंडआउट में कुछ ऐसा कंटेंट दिया हुआ, that is the origin of the solar system. Now let us try to understand and read this literature, what is written here. Origin of the solar system is through Big Bang theory. Now when did it happen? It happened near about 13.56 billion years. Now when did the formation of the earth took place? Earth का formation लगभग 4.5 billion years पहले हुआ था. See here, it formed around 4.5 billion years ago. This is the formation of the earth, with a dense cloud of interstellar gas and dust. Now what is this gas and dust? Initially I told you, right, when this Big Bang took place, it was full of gas and dust, non-transparent atmosphere था, and over a period वो transparent हो गया, but लेकिन वो cloud को nebula कहते थे. That cloud is called as nebula. Now the cloud collapsed, possibly due to the shockwave of the nearby exploding stars called as supernova. When this dust cloud collapsed, it formed solar nebula, a spinning, swirling disk of material. At the center, the gravity pulled more and more material in, and eventually the pressure in the core was so great that the hydrogen atoms began to combine and form hydrogen and combine helium, releasing tremendous amount of energy. And finally, our sun was born. So in simple terms, यही चीज थोड़ा technically लिखा है. मतलब because of the process of accretion क्या हुआ था, जितने भी material से इकट्ठा हुआ, जब इकट्ठा हुआ, इनके अंदर जो मटेरियल है, दैट मटेरियल इज नथिंग बट हाइड्रोजन. हाइड्रोजन एंड हाइड्रोजन दोनों कंबाइन होकर दे स्टार्टेड टू फ्यूज टू बिकम हीलियम, एंड दैट हीलियम मटेरियल फाइनली डोमिनेंटली यू विल गेट टू सी इन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द सन. राइट? मैटर फर्दर आउट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ डिस्क. द डिस्क जो है, जो सन से मटेरियल जो है, दैट हैज बीन थ्रोन आउट. इन सिंपल टर्म्स, इफ आई शो यू, इमेजिन दिस वॉज योर सन. ठीक है, ये आपका सन है. सन प्रॉपर्टीज क्या है? सो वन क्वेश्चन आई वांटेड टू आस्क, डज द सन रिवॉल्व? I wanted to ask a question. I also want you to answer in the comment section. Does the sun revolve and rotate? So, does the sun revolve and rotate? Is the sun revolving or the sun rotating? Or is it revolving and rotating? So, if the question is sun is revolving, sun is rotating, statement A, statement B. Both are correct, both are wrong. What is it? Swati says no. How do we get to know that sun is revolving and rotating? Right? How do you get to know that sun is revolving and rotating? कोई क्या है ऐसा एविडेंसेस हमारे पास जो सन रिवॉल्व हो रहा है, सन रोटेट हो रहा है? So Rashmi says that sir, sun is rotating. Very good, Rashmi. Now, Swati says, yes, sir, revolving but not rotating. Pavni says, both are wrong, sir. देखो, sun rotates and sun revolves. How do I know? आपने एक कॉन्सेप्ट सुना होगा करंट अफेयर्स में, that is sun spot. ठीक है? These sun spots will help you to identify that sun is rotating. ठीक है, सन रोटेट करता है. और सन का जो नॉर्थ पोल और साउथ पोल है, इफ दिस इज नॉर्थ पोल, दिस इज साउथ पोल, हर 12 साल के अंदर ये नॉर्थ साउथ हो जाएगा, साउथ नॉर्थ होगा. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है सन उल्टा होगा, नहीं. सन के अंदर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड जो होता है ना, वो रिवर्स हो जाता है हर 12 साल के अंदर. इट्स वेरी वेरी क्विक एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट यू गेट टू सी मेनी चेंजेस. नाउ इमेजिन देयर इज अ स्पॉट ऑन द सन. ठीक है, एंड इमेजिन दैट दिस स्पॉट ऑन द सन विच इज देयर, यू आर ऑब्जर्विंग थ्रू ए सैटेलाइट. ठीक है, ये आपका सैटेलाइट है एंड दिस इज योर अर्थ. ठीक है, अब सो व्हेन दिस सैटेलाइट, इमेजिन दैट द सन इज रोटेटिंग. व्हेन दिस रोटेट्स, द स्पॉट विच वॉज प्रेजेंट हियर, आफ्टर फ्यू डेज और आफ्टर सम डेज, द स्पॉट विल, ये जो स्पॉट वाला एरिया है, इट विल बी फेसिंग द सैटेलाइट, राइट? एंड फॉर सम टाइम इट विल नॉट बी फेसिंग द सैटेलाइट. सो इमेजिन दिस इज योर सन. इफ इट इज रोटेटिंग, आफ्टर फ्यू डेज यू विल फाइंड दैट दिस स्पॉट एरिया विल बी हियर. सो इनिशियली दिस इज ए हैज चेंज्ड इट्स पोजिशन. तो हम क्या करते हैं ना, while studying the sun spots, we identify that we got to know that sun is rotating. Sun rotates. Sun also revolves. It revolves around what? It revolves around the Milky Way galaxy. ठीक है, the center of the galaxy जो होता है ना, center of the galaxy के अंदर हर एक चीज, everything that is there in the space, it rotates and revolves. Either it rotates and revolves around an object, जो उनसे ताकतवर ऑब्जेक्ट है, उनके अराउंड रिवॉल्व करता है, उनके अराउंड रोटेट करता है. ठीक है, सो नाउ वी गॉट टू नो दैट सन इज ऑल्सो रोटेटिंग, सन इज ऑल्सो रिवॉल्विंग, राइट? So how do you get to know? By the concept of sunspots. Now what are the sunspots? I'll explain this after some time. Right? Now come back. So initially I am trying to explain you that, see here, this is your sun. Okay? Imagine this is your sun which was rotating also. As and when it starts to rotate, you know that sun is sun a solid or liquid? Is sun solid or liquid? The sun is neither solid nor liquid. It is a material called plasma. ठीक है, एक सेमी मोल्टन मटेरियल है. ये सेमी मोल्टन मटेरियल ऐसा है, इनिशियल डेज जब ये सन बना था, एक छोटा सा स्टार है, ये जो स्टार है, this star, while it started to rotate like this, what happened? Certain material from the sun got thrown out for various reasons. ठीक है, कुछ लोग कहते हैं सन जैसा दूसरा कोई स्टार है इनके आसपास से गुजर रहा था, तो इट हैज पुल्ड आउट मटेरियल फ्रॉम द सन. मे बी ऐसा भी हो सकता है. or else sun has thrown out certain material outward. It's like this because it is rotating. So imagine इसने ऐसा मटेरियल थ्रो किया, राइट? नाउ हेवियर ऑब्जेक्ट्स कहां पे होगा? हेवियर ऑब्जेक्ट्स होगा सन के पास, लाइटर एलिमेंट्स होगा जो दूर. सो I told you the process of accretion and the process of differentiation was continuously happening, and the process of condensation was also continuously happening, and because of that ये जो छोटे छोटे materials हैं, these materials they started to join together. ठीक है, when they started to join together you will see the formation of small planets like this. ठीक है, ये जो भी material है when they started to join together that became a planet. और ये जो planet है, planet नाम, if you wanted to call this as a planet, planet needs to have certain characteristics. What are these characteristics? The characteristics are nothing but the planet need to be round, and the planet should have the ability to clear off the orbit. Now this particular planet started to go around, but sun तो चुप नहीं बैठता. sun का काम क्या है? sun is a hot body, it is throwing out material, it is throwing out solar flares, and in the due process if there is any atmosphere that is formed, ये जो atmosphere है sun से emit हुआ जो flares होता है that has washed away, right? Like this you will get to see the gaseous planets that are being formed, they are formed far away, and the heavier material which is near to the sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, right? I hope now you got this clarity. Clear? See, likewise every planet started to have its own orbit like this. Let me draw these planets because ye sare planets, they were made up of, it's a collection of different kind of material. Every planet is a collection of different kind of material, and that's why you find many different kinds of materials on each particular planet. You might have heard about Mars. Mars red color है, Mars के ऊपर iron मिलता है, Mars के ऊपर ये चीज मिलता है. Earth के ऊपर भी बहुत सारे materials हैं. You get iron, you get nickel, you get ferrous, you get every different material. Now over a period these matter which you got to see after Big Bang only, right? Likewise you get to see small planets. वैसे अचानक से Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars के बाद you will get to see a belt, and this belt is called as asteroid. ठीक है, asteroid belt. Asteroid belt के बाद आपको एक बड़ा सा planet दिखता है, that is your Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and beyond this you will find another belt. This belt is called as Kuiper belt, and beyond this you will find Pluto. बेचारा प्लूटो एक टाइम पे प्लैनेट था, बाद में हमने डिक्लेयर किया ये प्लैनेट नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि to be called as a planet there are certain characteristics. Now what are those characteristics? Let us try to understand. And if it is not fitting into the planet but still it is round in nature and it goes around certain other orbits, then it is called as dwarf planet. So our solar system has certain planets and certain dwarf planets. Let us try to understand what are the constituents and components of the solar system. See, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. So this is your asteroid belt and this is your Kuiper belt. Again, if you go little far away from the space, here you will get another belt that is called as Oort belt. ठीक है, अब क्वेश्चन इस साल इसके बारे में पूछ सकते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि यहां से एक ऐसी कॉमेट है जो कॉमेट माना जाता है, दैट कॉमेट केम फ्रॉम हियर एंड इट केम नियर टू आवर सन. Now why is that is so important? Because while the comet that came, it was green in color, इसीलिए इसको green comet कहा गया. फिर से ये comet क्या होता है, फिर ये asteroid क्या है, फिर ये Kuiper belt क्या है, ये asteroid belt बना कैसा है? Can you answer how did the formation of the asteroid belt took place? What are asteroids and how did the formation of this asteroid belt took place? So comment in the comment section if you know it. Okay. Earth evolving and sun is rotating, sir. Asteroid belt, Cooper belt, but like can anyone tell me how did the formation of, if I'm looking here, my comments देख रहा हूँ आपका ही मोबाइल के अंदर, so how did the formation of the asteroid belt took place? So the part of the sun, then material came chrono. देखो asteroid belt कैसे बना? See, all this content is written here. I'll be explaining you this content in a very detailed manner, but लेकिन पहले conceptual clarity की जरूरत है. So I told you that initially when this sun was there, sun threw out a lot of material, right? So it's like this. Imagine this is your sun, and sun has thrown out some material outward like this. So because of this, because the sun is revolving and rotating, and here all this material they collected, and imagine this particular, all the materials which are present in this surface area, they came together through the process of accretion, and there's a process of differentiation and condensation. तीन ऐसी चीजों के कारण अब क्या है, while this started to rotate and while this started to revolve, see, it started to revolve around, right? जो रिवॉल्विंग पाथ है इसे ऑर्बिट कहा जाता है. इस ऑर्बिट में while this planet, just imagine, while this particular planet, imagine ये एक planet है. अब ये planet rotate करते करते, while it is started to move around, whatever the objects that are there in the orbit, it has attracted. ठीक है, जब भी attraction किया, while and when it attracted everything that is there in the orbit. Now, if such kind of characteristics are found in any object that is rotating and which is round in nature, and it has the potential to clear the orbit. Now this is the orbit. इस orbit के अंदर जो भी चीज, whatever is you find, if this planet should be in a potential, it should have the potential to clear this particular orbit, then only it is called as planet. ठीक है? If clearing मतलब क्या? Either this planet should go and it should bombard with them and destroy them, or else it should attract with the gravity and make them part of this particular planet. Likewise, when it is in a position to clear its own orbit, then only it is called as planet. If it is not in a position to clear on its own orbit but has all the other characteristics of the planet, that is called as dwarf planet. वैसे our solar system has certain dwarf planets. Our solar system has also planets. Dwarf planet is nothing but Pluto. एक टाइम पे हम प्लूटो को प्लैनेट कहा जाता था, बट लेकिन आज हम प्लूटो को प्लैनेट नहीं कह रहे, क्योंकि बिकॉज इट इज नॉट हैविंग द पोटेंशियल, द प्लूटो इज नॉट हैविंग द पोटेंशियल टू क्लियर इट्स ओन ऑर्बिट. ठीक है, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय क्लियर इट्स ओन ऑर्बिट? इन सिंपल टर्म्स, इमेजिन हमारा प्लूटो आज यहां पर है. ठीक है, ये प्लूटो है, प्लूटो को भी अपना और ऑर्बिट है. ठीक है, ये मान के चलो ये प्लूटो का ऑर्बिट है, और प्लूटो अपने ओन पेस के साथ इट इज गोइंग अराउंड द सन and revolving and rotating around the sun. But on a one fine day, what happened is, imagine that there are few objects. So this Pluto, while it is revolving, if it has come in contact with these particular objects, Pluto बेचारा अपना orbit बदल दिया, ये जाके इधर it has changed its orbit and now it is moving in a new orbit. Pluto का orbit ये बन गया अभी. ठीक है, अगर कोई भी प्लैनेट इस टाइप की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स दिखाता है, इसे कहा जाता है ड्वार्फ प्लैनेट. बट इफ देयर इज समथिंग ऑन इट्स पाथ and it has the potential to clear means either they bombard with that or they attract to that particular planet, so that will be called as a planet. ठीक है, I hope you're now clear with this particular topic, and let me go a little more further. So let me take you back to the content that is written here. What exactly is a planet? What is a planet? See here, by definition, the planet is, what are planets? 2.2 पे जाओ अपना. Planet is nothing but definition according to the International Astronomical Union के द्वारा, a planet is a celestial body that with the following three conditions. What are the three conditions? Number one, the planet should be orbiting around the sun. ठीक है, it should be orbiting around the sun. Pluto भी orbit करता है. At the same time, you'll also see Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, they are also orbiting around the sun. But it should have a sufficient mass for itself and self-gravity to overcome the rigid body forces that it is assumed से hydrostatic equilibrium. ये high content के through लिखा है, but लेकिन इन आसान भाषा में अगर मैं समझाऊं तो that particular body should have a self-gravity. That means this body should have a self-gravity and it should be in a position to attract other celestial bodies in its own orbit and clear that orbit. It's like highway. It should have its own highway. Anything that comes, it has to throw away from that highway or it has to attract on that highway. But Pluto, it is not following that situation. So that particular condition is called as it should have sufficient mass for its self-gravity. And second, to overcome the rigid body forces. Now, what are these rigid body forces? Rigid body forces are nothing but those bodies that are moving around. Agar if they are coming and hitting it hard, that is your rigid body force. That force को withstand करने का potential होना चाहिए. Next, it has cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. ये तीन conditions अगर आपके पास है, that is called as a planet. So in 2006 there was 9 planets including Pluto, but what happened is that in 2006 the 9th planet Pluto was declared as a dwarf planet by the International Astronomical Union. So अब सवाल ये है, there can be questions that can be asked on what is a dwarf planet. कितने dwarf planets है ये भी पूछने का potential है. What are the characteristics of the dwarf planet? अगर recent times में देखा जाए, there are 5 different dwarf planets which are in news. So these 5 dwarf planets are none other than Ceres, Makemake, Pluto, Homer and Eris. अब हमें इसके ऊपर कॉन्सेंट्रेट करना चाहिए. क्यों? क्योंकि ये करंट अफेयर्स में है, राइट? सो एरिस यू नीड टू नो अबाउट, एंड यू ऑल्सो नीड प्लूटो. इट इज लॉट टाइम इन न्यूज, काफी बार न्यूज में है, काफी क्वेश्चंस पूछ चुका है. लेकिन which of the following can be your dwarf planets? What are the conditions of the dwarf planets? Yes, there can be question and possibility is very, very high in the expected areas. Okay, come back. These are the 5 different dwarf planets. Or let's go back to the content once and also look into the definition of dwarf planets. Look here. So go to the material. Again, look into the dwarf planet. Moons or asteroids का भी definitions दिया है. So here, a dwarf planet is nothing but it should be orbiting around the sun, number 1. Second condition is that it has sufficient mass for its self-gravity to overcome rigid body forces so that it assumes a hydrostatic equilibrium. That means it should also have the potential to take the forces that are coming from the other celestial bodies. But लेकिन यहाँ पे देखो, it has not cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. So जो भी planet, if it is not clearing its orbit, that is not a planet, but it's a dwarf planet, and it is not a satellite. It should not be a satellite. It should not have the capability to clear its own orbit, but लेकिन round होना चाहिए. अगर कोई चीज इसको hit करे तो वो disintegrate नहीं होना चाहिए. These are the conditions of the formation of the dwarf planets. Now, how many dwarf planets are there? As of now, we have 5 recognized dwarf planets. What are these 5 recognized dwarf planets? Number 1, Ceres. So Ceres, Pluto, Makemake, Eris, इसके बारे में कुछ कंटेंट यहाँ पे दिया हुआ. अब देखा जाए, while you study them, you will come across a particular concept called Kuiper belt. बहुत सारे ऐसे dwarf planets है ना, वो Kuiper belt के आसपास है. Now, what is this Kuiper belt? Kuiper belt is an area where you find comets. ठीक है, ये comets क्या होता है? comets are made up of 3 different elements. Now what are they? It is made up of ice, rocks and dust. मतलब ये मान के चलो अलग अलग पत्थर है, इन सारे पत्थर के बीच में डस्ट है and it is covered with ice. That is your comet. And a comet को tail भी होता है. A comet will also have a head. Now why is it head and tail structure? I'll explain in the further time period. Right? I hope यहां तक आपको क्लियरली समझ में आ रहा है. अगर कोई डाउट है तो आप मेरे से पूछ सकते हो. अगर आपको कोई रिकमेंडेशन है तो भी आप मुझे दे सकते हो कमेंट सेक्शन में. आई विल बी वेरी वेरी हैप्पी. एंड बिफोर दैट लेट मी टेल यू, दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ द समाधान प्रोग्राम. समाधान एक प्रीलिम्स क्रैश कोर्स है. अगर आप देख रहे हो, इफ यू हैव नॉट एनरोल्ड, यू कैन enroll, because this is the only class which is live on YouTube. From tomorrow you are supposed to come back to the portals, right? So see here, or at the end what we'll do, we'll also go back to the revision cards. Revision card जो नीचे दिया है ना, उसको रिवाइज करते हुए हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, right? Okay, so now you got to see the difference between what is a dwarf planet and what is a planet. Now let's go back to the solar system में other components. Now what are the components that you get to see in the solar system? One, you have your planets. ठीक है? How many planets are there? There are 8 planets which are rocky planets or inner planets, or otherwise these are your outer planets or gaseous planets. ये दोनों gases है, Jupiter and Saturn, and these are ice dominated and these are rock dominated. Ab, you see, this is called asteroid belt. But what exactly is asteroid belt? How did this asteroid belt formed? There can be questions on that. आपने Osiris Rex, ये current affairs में सुना होगा. Osiris Rex is actually sent to study asteroids. So what are these asteroids? Asteroids मिलता कहाँ पर है? This you need to know. Asteroids are found between Mars and Jupiter के बीच में. Now why are they found only between Mars and Jupiter? Can anyone tell me why are they found only between Mars and Jupiter? Why are these asteroids absent between Jupiter and Saturn, Saturn and Uranus? Why is it so? So can anyone give me this answer? Why are the asteroids present only between Mars and Jupiter? देखिए, इसका कुछ reasons है. The reasons are that, for example, it is said that ये सारे जितने भी आइडियाज है ना, आइडियाज और द नॉलेज दैट इज देयर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू स्पेस, इट इज ऑलवेज बेस्ड ऑन थियरीज एंड हाइपोथेसिस. थियरी मतलब जिसके पास एविडेंस है. इफ एनी कंटेंट दैट यू गिव, इफ यू हैव द एविडेंस, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज थियरी. एंड इफ यू डू नॉट हैव दैट एविडेंसेस, दैट इज नथिंग बट योर हाइपोथेसिस. तो there is a hypothesis that why is the asteroid belt present only between Mars and Jupiter? It is because it is assumed that यहां पे एक टाइम पे एक प्लैनेट होता था. ठीक है? There used to be a planet, but it is not a fully developed planet. It is not a fully developed planet. वो pseudo planet माना जाता है. And it is said that there might be chances that some celestial body has come and hit this planet or hit this pseudo planet. उस टाइम पे क्या हुआ? जब it has been hit, several disintegrated materials have been formed. ये सारे material, it got broke away, and finally the broken material started to revolve around the sun, and that planet was present between Mars and Jupiter. इसीलिए the distance between Mars and Jupiter is so high. बाकी planets देखो पास पास होता है. यहाँ पे देखो बहुत बड़े बड़े planets है, तो इनका gravity भी इतना ही ज़्यादा होगा, तो it has cleared the entire orbit. Now the distance between Mars and Jupiter is so high, you get to see the formation of the asteroids here. Now what is an asteroid? Asteroid is nothing but it can be as big as a city, or it can be as small as your mobile phone. ठीक है? This is also your asteroid. Now asteroids का अलग अलग फॉर्म है. अगर स्पेस में यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट है, मार्स और जुपिटर के बीच में प्रेजेंट है, दिस इज कॉल्ड एन एस्टेरॉइड. इफ इट इज कमिंग इनटू द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ द अर्थ, कभी अर्थ के ऊपर भी आ सकते हैं, उसको अलग अलग नाम से जानते हो आप. इट कैन बी कॉल्ड एज शूटिंग स्टार. नाउ दैट शूटिंग स्टार हैज डिफरेंट नेम्स. इट कैन बी कॉल्ड एज मीटियोर, इट कैन बी कॉल्ड एज मीटियोराइट, एंड इट हैज मीटियोरॉइड. 3 अलग अलग नाम है based on the conditions and at what area it is present. So come here, you let me explain you the concept of asteroids, and later we'll go to the Kuiper belt and we'll then come to the current affairs small topic, that is green asteroid. वो क्या है? Now you got to know why the formation of the asteroids took place here, right? So asteroids are formed because there was a planet that has been hit by another celestial body. Because of that pseudo planet which is there, it got disintegrated, and all the material of that particular planet, or else all the material of the age old celestial bodies, they are concentrated here, right? अब देखो, ये जो भी एस्टेरॉइड है, कभी कभार they come under the influence of other planets. Now when they come under the influence of other planets, now what do they mean by coming under the influence of other planets? It is nothing but when these small asteroid bodies or these small bodies अर्थ की ग्रेविटी में आया तो अर्थ खींच लेगा, मार्स की ग्रेविटी में आया तो मार्स विल पुल दैट बॉडी. नाउ यू माइट बी थिंकिंग, सर ये देखो सारे तो आसपास में ही है, हाउ दे क्रॉस, if there is a body of asteroid, how is it crossing Mars and then coming to Earth? So many might be having these kind of questions. Now let me tell you, see, for our understanding, जितने भी text books है, उन्होंने क्या किया, they have drawn the solar system diagram like this, but the rotation speed of each particular celestial body or each particular planet is different. The speed of the rotating bodies are different. So here, each planet has its own orbit and they move as per their own speed. Their revolution speeds are different, their rotational speeds are different. If you look into, it's very interesting to know that every celestial body which is there, it rotates with great speed, and their rotation speeds are also different. So that's why they are not always present next to each other. That means, what I mean to say is that, you look here, imagine that this is your sun. Just give me a second. Imagine this is your sun. This is Mercury, your Venus. Your Venus can be here. This is your Earth. And this can be your Mars. ये जुपिटर हो सकता है, ये सैटर्न, ये यूरेनस, or this can be your Neptune. So look here, your asteroid belt is actually present between, just give me a minute, this is one orbit, this is another orbit, तीसरा orbit, now here you will find the asteroids. So इसका मतलब ये है, ये जो asteroids है, they are present all across this orbit. और ये आपका जुपिटर बन गया, right? So this is Jupiter's orbit. Look here. Why does the asteroids come onto the surface of the Earth? It is because our planets are not aligned in a straight line. They are present at various locations. So here, imagine, यहाँ पे जो planets है, this is your Earth. And if there is any asteroids that are present here, they will be pulled by the Earth. ठीक है? Sometimes they can be pulled by the Earth. When they are pulled, ये जो asteroid है, this asteroid, while it is traveling, it can be called with different names. While it comes onto the Earth's atmosphere, it burns off. Why this burns off? Because Earth के अंदर friction है. Earth में there is varying temperature. When you enter into the temperatures of mesosphere में सबसे कम temperature होता है, -80, -70 degrees Celsius. वहाँ पे कोई hot body है, ये गरम body है. That body, when it enters into the mesosphere, it blasts out. It experiences friction, right? So it is given with different names. Now what are those different names? Let me try to show it to you. It is given in your handouts. देखिए, यहाँ पे asteroids, just give me a minute. See here, the same asteroid, it is also called as a meteoroid or meteor or meteorite. It is called as a meteoroid when it has moved away from that asteroid belt and started to move towards the earth. Now the size can be as small as your football or the cricket ball size, or it can be as big as the size of a city. That is called as meteoroid. Look at the spelling, METEOROID. But again, when it enters into the Earth's atmosphere, it burns off. जब भी ये burn करेगा, इसे कहा जाता है meteor. METEOR. This is meteoroid, this is meteor, and this is meteorite. Meteorite is nothing but when the body that is not fully burned, sometimes it might come onto the surface of the earth and fall that. कभी ये सुना होगा खेती में, अरे यार ये तो ऊपर से पत्थर गिरा, ये पत्थर कहाँ से गिरा, उनको लगता है भगवान ने दिया. नहीं यार, ये तो एस्टेरॉइड था जो एस्टेरॉइड बेल्ट से, while it is coming into the influence of the surface of the earth and then it has not fully burned, so finally it fall onto the ground. So you might have heard about that meteorite shower. Now what do you mean by meteorite shower? Meteorite shower is unburnt जो भी material है which is there in the asteroid belt, if it is coming onto the surface of the earth, it is called as meteorite. If it is burnt off in between, that is called as meteor. If it is traveling between asteroid belt and in the atmosphere, that is nothing but meteoroid. Right? I hope this is clear for you. Okay. Now this is something which is written here in your handout. कभी कभार इसी को shooting star कहते हैं. When you have that shooting star, you will be called as make a wish, make a wish. देखो, इट्स नॉट अबाउट मेकिंग अ विश. अभी न्यू ईयर भी पास में है, आपके पास बहुत सारे विशेस होंगे, बहुत सारे नए गोल्स के साथ आप स्टार्ट कर रहे होंगे. एंड इफ़ यू डू हैव एनी डाउट्स आफ्टर दिस क्लास, अगर आपके पास कोई डाउट्स हो तो आप इस नंबर पे भी डाउट्स पूछ सकते हैं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. और नीचे कमेंट सेक्शन में भी आई विल आंसर योर डाउट्स बट नॉट इमीडिएटली, डेफिनेटली आई विल रिटर्न बैक. अब देखो, सी the importance of meteors is something, or meteorites or meteoroids, ये हमें जानना चाहिए, क्योंकि whenever you find this meteorite, studying meteorite is considered as evidence to understand the origin and evolution of the space. It is because जो भी meteor or the asteroid that is coming onto the surface of the earth, क्या होता है, they are very young and juvenile bodies, very young bodies. ये जो young bodies है, अगर हम उन्हें पढ़ा, if you started to study and research on that particular bodies, you will understand that how did the origin and evolution of the earth took place, क्योंकि they are exposed core of the other planet, right? ये किसी का core हो सकता है, the body that is present there, it can be core also. Imagine the body that is present in the asteroid belt, it might have been part of the core. So that means studying that we can also understand the interior of the earth, because even the earth is also part of that big bang. The big mother is the big bang, or the sun is also obtained from the big bang. Sun से हमारा planets, or within our planets it is different materials that have been collected, right? Now you also got to understand the difference between meteors, meteoroids and meteoroids. Next, what is comets? अभी आपको ये जानना चाहिए comet के बारे में भी. So let me first take you to the definition of the comet. Comet क्या होता है, पहले comet मिलता कहाँ पे. देखिए, ये जो comet है, comet is usually found in beyond, comets are found beyond Neptune. नेपट्यून की ऑर्बिट जो है, इसके पीछे आपको comets मिलता है. Now what is a comet? Comet is nothing but it is made up of gas plus dust plus ice. तीन चीज होता है comet के अंदर. Now why is it gas, dust and ice? I told you, the further you go away from the sun, the material that you get to see is ice, because temperature is cold. And the further you go away, you'll see the dust. Dust काफी lightweight होता है, अगर rocks है, पत्थर है, these are rocky planets which are heavier. So that's why dominantly it is gas and ice, bit with some dust and parts of rocks. So these comets, sometimes they also change their path and they come and change their orbits also. They might be coming under some other influential bodies, celestial bodies के influence में भी आ सकता है. जब भी ये influence में आया, by the time they come near to the sun, they'll have a structure. Now what is that structure? If I show you, look at this particular comet. So these comets are usually found near to the Kuiper belt. You got to know what is Kuiper belt. Kuiper belt is a collection of comets. Kuiper belt is a collection of dust, gas and rocky substances, right? So look at this comet. This comet has a head. ठीक है, this comet has a head. ये मान के चलो ये head है, and this comet also has a tail. Look at this tail. Very interesting shape that it has. That means it has a head and a tail, and the head looks lighted color. Head hamesha it looks bright in color. Why is this bright in color? I told you, a comet which was present in the Kuiper belt, while it is traveling, it is exposed to the sun. So that ice crystals which are there, when they are exposed to the sun, they get reflected, and then all the bodies that are present in the frontal direction, they will be moving towards the backward. So isiliye a comet has a head and a comet also has a tail. So this is your head and this is your tail, right? So it is nothing but gas plus ice plus rock, dust. It is not dominantly rocks, but it is dust. So together this is your comets. Up coming to green comet. Now what is this green comet? Let me take you back to the handout, or let me show it to you. देखिए, comets are frozen leftovers from the formation of the solar system, composed of dust, rock and ice. They range from few miles to almost tens of miles of wide. They orbit closer to the sun and they heat up and spew gases and dust into glowing head. मतलब जब भी when they are coming near to the sun, there are gases that are present. When they get exposed, they heat up and they sometimes blast. Now depending on the gases that are present within the comet, you will get to see the color of the comet. कभी कभार ये color green भी हो सकता है, कभी red भी हो सकता है, कभी blue भी हो सकता है. Now based on that color, they are called as comets. So recent times में a green comet which was coming near to the sun is seen from the earth, and because of that they estimated that this green comet which is there, it is coming near to the earth also. So that is why this was in news. So there are billions of comets orbiting around the sun in the Kuiper belt, and even more distance, Oort cloud also. Now what is this Oort cloud? Uski karan Oort cloud is also in news. Let us try to understand what is this Oort cloud as well, right? So here you got to study, you have to learn about two different things, that is Kuiper belt. So ये Kuiper belt क्या होता है, कोई मुझे बता सकते हो? What is this Kuiper belt? See, Kuiper belt can be defined in this way. It is like this. Kuiper belt is a place which is trying to define what is the limit of our solar system. What is the limit of the gravity of the sun? See, beyond Kuiper belt, if you go, you will find another belt called the Oort cloud. See, it is like this. कहाँ तक अपना सन का, हमारा जो सन है, इस सन का इन्फ्लुएंस कहाँ तक जा सकता है, ये आपको जानना चाहिए. See, it is said that the influence of the sun's gravity can reach up to Oort cloud. Now beyond Oort cloud, the sun is not having the gravity. So ये जो gravity of the sun sometimes pulls the material which is present in this Oort area. Oort area is an area where millions and millions of comets are present. कभी इतना छोटा हो सकता है, कभी miles and miles of bigger. So recently this material started to come near to the sun and come near to the earth, right? So maybe this might be a question that can be asked this year. Okay. अब Kuiper belt के बारे में देखते. What is Kuiper belt? Your Kuiper belt has ice, rocks and metals and organic compounds. Three different things. Okay. Let me take you to the green comet which is given in your handout. See here. Look at this. What is green comet? It approached the sun in the middle of the January 2023. It is now moving away from it along in its own orbit. पहले हम estimate कर रहा था ये अर्थ के पास में भी आ रहा है, but लेकिन अब क्या है, it started to move on its own orbit. The orbit indicates it comes from the edge of our solar system, a distant reservoir of comets. We call that Oort cloud. It is most distant region of our solar system and home of the comets. मतलब जितने भी सबसे ज़्यादा comets area present होता है, that is your Oort cloud. Now, why the color is green here? The color is green here because I told you comets are composing of gases. It is like this. So the gas which is present in this particular comet, when this gas which is there, so यहाँ पे भी gases होगा. ये gases, they are exposed to the sun, right? So every gas can give different color. If this particular gas which is present, you will see green color. So that's why it is named as green comet. Now, my question is, which gas will give you green color? Which gas will give you green color? ये क्वेश्चन मैं आगे भी इंटरलिंक करके मैं आपसे पूछने वाला हूं, क्योंकि यूपीएससी आजकल इट इज नॉट आस्किंग अबाउट शैलो थिंग्स. आपको मेहनत करना ही होगा, मेहनत इस डायरेक्शन में करना होगा जहां पे सबसे कम पढ़ के सबसे ज्यादा मार्क्स लाना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं है गधे की तरह बैठकर 10 घंटे पढ़ो. जब आप 10 घंटे पढ़ते हो, the productivity, whatever you study, you should make sure that that comes into the examination. I can with so much of conviction say that from today's class you will at least find 1 or 2 questions in UPSC. There's definitely a question on the solar system, no doubt, be it on the Big Bang theory, evidences, क्योंकि evidences मैं अभी पढ़ाने वाला हूँ. कहीं ना कहीं questions तो होगा. Instead of going and reading everything and anything there, Big Bang theory आपको समझने में लगभग 10 दिन लगेगा. NCERT में जो कंटेंट दिया हुआ, आई थिंक द कंटेंट दैट दे हैव रिटन इन अ वेरी हेस्ट मैनर, रादर आपको समझ में आने के लिए टाइम लगेगा. सिंगुलैरिटी कॉन्सेप्ट समझ में आने के लिए टाइम लगेगा. इसीलिए 20% ऑफ योर टाइम और 20% ऑफ द कंटेंट विच इज देयर, यू हैव टू रीड इट वेरी अगेन एंड अगेन. मतलब यू हैव टू स्पेंड लॉट ऑफ टाइम ऑन द हाई एक्सपेक्टेड एरियाज. So this particular session is aimed to give you that. So इसीलिए understand the concepts and then later go and revise the content that we are giving. That's it. Okay. So यहाँ पे तो आपको comets भी समझ में आ गया. Then you also got to learn what is Kuiper belt. Kuiper belt is also a belt which is trying to define what is our solar system. जहाँ तक अपना planets का influence है, or else sorry, जहाँ तक अपना sun का influence है in terms of making planets. Beyond that, whatever you see here, they are all dwarf planets. Eris is a dwarf planet. You also see Sirius is a dwarf planet. So Eris, make ये जितने भी है ना, ये सब कूपर बेल्ट में ही प्रेजेंट है. ठीक है. अब लेट्स कम बैक टू जस्ट अ मिनट. So are you clear about this? Comets, you know. We are also clear with meteoroids and meteoroid. You know what is a dwarf planet also, and what are the dwarf planets. Now where is this Eris located? Eris I have shown you the location. आपको Kuiper belt में present है. Now where is this Sirius present? Sirius is present. The perturbations of Jupiter के आसपास present है. Now where is Pluto? You know, beyond Kuiper belt again. Where is Make? It is along with Eris again. It is in the Kuiper belt. And lastly, the Huma. So it is also an elongated dwarf planet. अभी dwarf planet बनने वाला है. Okay. So moons are nothing but the satellites. ठीक है. Moons are nothing but satellites. Satellites are none other than, which are neither dwarf planets, which are not asteroids. They are under the influence of another celestial body, not the sun. ठीक है. Not the sun, they are under the influence of other celestial body. They can be many number of satellites to one particular planet. Now based on that, certain data is given. Now come here. Asteroids also we have done. देखो, अब हमें पढ़ना चाहिए द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एस्टेरॉइड्स. व्हेन यू लुक इनटू द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एस्टेरॉइड्स हियर, देयर आर 3 डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एस्टेरॉइड्स. 1, asteroids in the main belt, which is nothing but the Jupiter and Mars के बीच में, and the second one is Trojans. आपने सुना होगा ये word Trojans. Trojans are nothing but, if you see, those that are orbiting the bigger planets, जैसे Jupiter, Neptune, Mars. So any orbit, if suppose Earth is there, Earth के around there is any asteroid that is going on, that is called as Trojans. Right? And lastly, near Earth asteroids are those asteroids which orbit and pass close to the Earth. It's not like that they are coming onto the Earth, they might sometimes pass near to the Earth. The potential of these questions asking is very, very less, but let us move little more further and let us try to understand the interior of the Earth. ठीक है, यहाँ पे interior of the Earth के बारे में भी हम पढ़ेंगे in a detailed manner. So the atmosphere concepts will be taking up tomorrow. यहाँ तक कोई doubts है? Do you have any doubts here? Yes, do you have any doubts till here? I'll be very happy to take your doubts. I hope you're clear with these topics. So diatomic carbon, see, diatomic carbon is nothing but a material. जहाँ पे diatomic carbon होता है वहाँ you get to see the explosion is quite easy. Okay. So why Ceres is considered to be a dwarf planet? Ceres is considered to be a dwarf planet because it has all the characteristics of the dwarf planet. Okay. Now, today we also need to learn about the interior of the Earth. And before that, let me also take you to the revision cards here. Here revision cards में the content that we have learned today, we should also revise it, right? And when you revise it, it becomes quite easy. जो भी content आज हमने पढ़ा है ना, they are considered to be the base fundamental understanding for the geography. Now by using this, we are going to build the content, क्योंकि आज जो क्लास में पढ़ा, you will have an overall overview about the origin and evolution of the solar system. उसके बाद then we'll go through this revision cards. Revision card 1 में क्या है? It is the interior of the Earth. When we teach you the interior of the Earth, just this single page where we have curated in such a way, it will become very, very easy for you to understand all of these topics. Next revision card यहाँ पे जो दिया है, that is impact, rotation and revolution of the Earth. So let us quickly go and try to understand about the rotation and revolution of the Earth and what is the direction of the rotation and revolution of the Earth. See here, initially when the Earth formation took place, ठीक है? When the Earth formation took place, Earth was initially a hot body. Every celestial body which is present in the in the space, they are all hot bodies. Now you look here, just briefly look into these planets. Some planet will be rotating in one direction, another planet will be rotating in another direction. Look at the Venus. Venus takes 243 days odd to go around the sun, whereas Venus takes 243 odd days to rotate one circle around itself. That means its rotation speed I am talking about. Earth देखो, Earth takes 23 hours 56 minutes to rotate. Some celestial bodies speed is high, some celestial bodies speed is low. Now it is purely on the basis of its own orbit and it's the time that has taken for the formation. लेकिन ये सारे चीज के ऊपर questions कम expected है, but लेकिन the area that the questions can be asked is, look at this Earth. You see, there is a complete reversal of the Venus. So every celestial body is tilted to an extent. कुछ ऐसा bodies है, Jupiter देखो बिल्कुल ही सीधा है, Earth देखो थोड़ा tilted है. Now why this tilt is there in these celestial bodies? See, this tilt is there in the celestial bodies, especially with respect to the Earth. You need to understand that. Look here. Initially, when the Earth formation took place, you know that this is Sun, and imagine that this is your Earth. So Earth was considered to be hot. It is a hot body. It also revolving and it is also rotating. Earth is also revolving, Earth is also rotating. ये रोटेशन के कारण आप देखते हो डे एंड नाइट। रेवोल्यूशन के कारण आप देखते हो सीजन्स, बिकॉज दिस इज वन पोजिशन. After few months the earth can be here, after few months the earth can be here, after few months the earth can be here. So I'll discuss this in a detailed manner in the tomorrow's class, but आपको ये जानना चाहिए how did the earth had its own tilt? Why did the tilt of the earth took place? See, initially when the earth was hot, ठीक है, earth काफी hot था. It is just like take a mug of or a cup of milk and you leave that tea or milk for some time, you will see that the top layer of the crust or the top layer of the milk, you will get to see a formation of malai. ये जो मलाई है, always the cooling of that tea or coffee, you will see that cooling starts from the above. Likewise, the earth when it was hot, it started to cool from the top. ये जो earth है, it started to cool down. The cooling started from the surface. ऊपर से कूल होने लगा, बट लेकिन आज भी देखो द इंटीरियर ऑफ द अर्थ इज वेरी वेरी हॉट, राइट? एंड दिस इंटीरियर ऑफ द अर्थ इज नथिंग बट कोर. टेम्परेचर भी सबसे ज्यादा है और डिफरेंशिएशन के कारण द डेंसिटी ऑफ द कोर इज ऑल्सो वेरी वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग, राइट? बट हाउ डू वी नो what is the density that is present there, what is the angle that is present there? It is nothing but we have studied the interior of the earth without going too deep into the interior of the earth. That is none other than by studying the earthquake. ठीक है, जब भी हम earthquake के बारे में पढ़ते हैं तो earthquake will help us to understand the interior layers of the earth, and this is tomorrow's topic. We'll also discuss this in a detailed manner for tomorrow. So what we'll do for today is we'll try to understand the difference between rotation and revolution of the earth as well. So what does rotation cause and what does revolution cause? And here you also need to understand here about revolution and rotation के बारे में in detail, because हर साल क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है. Look here. So when the earth was hot initially, it is estimated that कुछ celestial bodies they also came and hit the earth. ठीक है, maybe there are also theories that जब कुछ ऐसी celestial bodies they came and hit the earth, a part of the earth has been peeled out. मतलब ये जब hit हुआ, maybe some part of the earth has been thrown out, right? And that thrown out particle is considered to be your moon. अब ये moon जो है earth के around rotate होते रहते हैं. So these are hypotheses. आप कल को एक अच्छा hypothesis लेके आओ कुछ अच्छा reasoning के साथ, वो भी सच माना जा सकता है. ठीक है, hypothesis is a place where there are no evidences. There is no evidence to this, but these are hypotheses. So one of the hypothesis says that the formation of the moon took place because some other celestial body came and hit the earth. So जब earth hot था, कुछ ऐसी material earth से निकल के बाहर आ गया, and that material formed out to be your moon. At that point of time, when the earth was there, earth was also rotating. ठीक है, if this is your earth, if it is like this, it was rotating, but when the celestial body came and hit the earth, earth started to tilt. Tilt means the rotation is not in a straight line, but today the rotation of the earth, you will see that it is like this. That means the earth is revolving like this. In simple terms, if I have to draw it, earlier the position of the earth was said to be like this, and it is rotating. But once the celestial body came and hit the earth, you got to see there was a tilt in the earth. The tilt is like this. So ये जो tilt है, so earlier this is how the earth was rotating, but now it is said that the earth is rotating like this. So that means today's concept of the earth is tilted by how much? It is tilted by 23.5 degrees. ठीक है, 23.5 degrees the earth axis, ये जो line है इसे कहा जाता है axis. This axis is tilted by 23.5 degrees. So because of this tilt in the axis, you also get to see the variation in the length of the day, the variation in the daylight saving. ये सारे concepts यहाँ पे आ जाते हैं, right? So we'll briefly try to understand what does how are the seasons caused, how are the formations of various days, लीप ईयर, ये सब कैसे बनता है. आई विल एक्सप्लेन दिस इन द फर्दर क्लास इन अ डिटेल मैनर, बट लेकिन एक छोटा सा रिविजन कार्ड के थ्रू आज हम कोशिश करेंगे समझने का व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन रोटेशन एंड रेवोल्यूशन एंड व्हाट आर द कंटेंट वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी. वी शुड ऑल्सो रिवाइज हियर. ये रिविजन कार्ड आपको मदद करेगा उस डायरेक्शन में. सी, rotation is nothing but any celestial body if it is making a 360 degree around itself, that is called rotation. If suppose I made a 360 degree rotation, a 360 degree movement, that is your rotation. Now revolution is if I keep this stencil and I go around this stencil, that is nothing but your revolution. So within the celestial bodies, most of the celestial bodies, they rotate as well as revolve. Sun also rotates, sun also revolves. Earth also rotates, earth also revolves. So rotation के कारण if you get to see, it is nothing but a circulatory motion around itself. But what do you mean by revolution? Revolution is nothing but a circulatory motion around another object. मतलब around the sun, the earth is going. This is called revolution. Revolution के कारण आप देखते हो seasons. Rotation के कारण आप देखते हो day and night. Now it takes 24 hours, near up to 23 hours 56 minutes. But here you will see it takes 365 odd days to go around one revolution. Now earth rotates from west to east and earth revolves in anti-clockwise direction. Rotation and revolution are two different entities. Next, different length of days and nights, equinox, solstice, changing the altitude of midday sun, aphelion, perihelion, ये सारे concepts revolution के कारण ही है. Now what do you mean by the aphelion and perihelion? In simple terms, if I have to tell you, the orbit of any celestial body, it is not circular. It is not circular in nature. See here. Imagine this is your sun, right? The body that is orbiting around the sun, it is not circular in nature. It is elliptical. When this particular body is near, it is called as peri. And if this body is farthest from this particular body, then this is called as aphelion. Perihelion and aphelion are these two concepts. Perihelion matlab paas mein, aphelion matlab dur. The same celestial body can be present at two different distances. When it is near, it is called as perihelion. When it is far away, it is called as aphelion. So the positions of the aphelion and perihelion is also because of the revolution, not rotation. Rotation के कारण day and night length. So this is what a basic entity that you need to know. और बाकी जो content है, this needs and little more understanding. यहाँ पे हम revision cards के through we are going to learn in a detailed manner in more, be it plate tectonics मान के चलो, or else we'll also be studying about the rotation and revolution of the earth and the interior of the earth. And lastly, I should also explain you, before I wind up this particular session, I should explain you the evidences of the Big Bang theory as promised. So let me try to explain the evidences of the Big Bang theory. The evidences of the Big Bang theory are, just a minute. It is nothing but red shift and blue shift and cosmic microwave background. See, you know about asteroids, you know about meteoroids, you also know about the Kuiper belt. For example, imagine if you are going and studying those celestial bodies, what do you study within that celestial body? It is nothing but when there was a big blast that took place 13.6 billion years ago, that blast radiation might have been there on those rocks. That blast might have emitted कुछ cosmic microwave radiation. वो अभी भी अपना जो space है, उस space में ये cosmic microwave radiation अभी भी है. We'll try to go and study that cosmic microwave radiation. Now, that radiation is dating back to 13.6 billion years. So that's why you will see that if you're going and studying in a detailed manner with respect to the cosmic microwave radiations, the radiation which you get to see in the space, sometimes that will tell you that this particular body is this old, this radiation is this old, right? The second entity that you need to know is redshift and blue shift. What do you mean by redshift and blue shift? Redshift and blue shift is nothing but it is the distance positioning that you see through a particular lens. For example, see here, let's try to understand this. You are having a satellite. You have a satellite near to the earth. ये मान के चलो एक satellite है. इस satellite के अंदर आप एक ऐसा स्पेक्ट्रोमीटर या प्रिज्म रखा and you are trying to watch every celestial body that is present. दूर दूर की bodies you wanted to see. अब when we started to see this through a telescope which is placed in the space, then we got to learn that वहां पे क्या हो रहा है, जो भी celestial body present है उनकी बीच में distance increase हो रहा है, and that too in the galaxies. In simple terms, if I have to tell you, the distance between galaxies is increasing, and whenever the distance between these galaxies is increasing, when ये distance जब increase होगा, they always move far away. It's like this. Let me explain you in a simplest format. Imagine that there was a big bang that took place and you got to see the formation of galaxy. This is one galaxy, this is another galaxy, this is another galaxy, galaxy A, galaxy B, galaxy C, or galaxy D, like this. ये मान के चलो, this is today X years. मतलब maybe 2020 you have seen, right? Maybe after, imagine you're watching it from Earth. This is your Earth, and from here you're watching through a telescope. This is called as James Webb Hubble telescope. From here you're trying to watch all the celestial bodies. अब 2020 में आपने जो देखा, फिर 2023 में आपने जो देखा, उन दोनों के बीच में जो डिस्टेंस है, डिस्टेंस ऑफ गैलेक्सी ए एंड गैलेक्सी बी के बीच में जो डिस्टेंस है, इट हैज इंक्रीज्ड. दैट मीन्स टू से, फॉर एग्जांपल, द पोजीशन ऑफ द गैलेक्सी ए इज समवेयर हियर. नाउ लिटिल लेटर यू गॉट टू सी द गैलेक्सी बी पोजीशन इज हियर. इन दोनों के बीच में जो डिस्टेंस है, इट हैज इंक्रीज्ड. एंड द डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम द अर्थ, अर्लियर डिस्टेंस वाज दिस, but now the distance is this. Or else Earth is part of Milky Way galaxy. That means when you are watching another galaxy from the Milky Way galaxy, what you have understood is that the distance between these galaxies is increasing. जब भी ये कोई भी distance increase होगा, that particular object in the prism will be seen in the red color. That means, look here. If suppose, if I have a spectrometer that is placed like this, so हमने क्या किया था, we have sent one of the best telescopes, that is nothing but your James Webb Hubble telescope. ये जो James Webb Hubble telescope है, we have sent it in the recent times, and this is one of the biggest telescopes that you will get to see. And this telescope के अंदर we have an object. That spectrometer, what does it do? Its main work is to go and check कौन सा ऑब्जेक्ट कहाँ पे प्रेजेंट है और उनका बीच में डिस्टेंस कैलकुलेट करने का. सो फॉर सपोज इफ यू आर गेटिंग टू सी एक्स सेलेस्टियल बॉडी इन द रेड कलर विद दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रिज्म, इट इज एन इंडिकेशन दैट इट इज मूविंग फार अवे. ठीक है. एंड इफ इट इज फाउंड इन द ब्लू कलर, ये दिस इज गैलेक्सी ए एंड दिस इज गैलेक्सी डी, दे आर कमिंग टुगेदर. इफ दे आर seen in the red color, it is an indication that they are moving far away. That means the distance between galaxies is increasing. So जब उतना बड़ा blast हुआ, that impact might have been there till date, and this red shift and blue shift are considered to be the evidences for the Big Bang. Now it is saying that if suppose such a large scale blast when it has taken place, obviously that impact might have been there till now, and because of that they are expanding, they are still moving away from each other, and that's why Big Bang theory is also called as expanding universe theory, right? So Big Bang is also called as expanding universe theory. I think now you got a complete picture of what exactly is Big Bang, and here you also got to know what exactly is singularity. This small tiny dot is your singularity, but this singularity one day has blasted, right? आई होप दिस इज क्लियर फॉर यू. यहाँ पे कोई डाउट्स हो तो आप मेरे से पूछ सकते हो. आई विल बी टेकिंग योर डाउट्स. एंड लास्टली, लेट मी टेल यू वन थिंग. हियर आई हैव टू टेल यू वन थिंग, दैट in order to clear prelims, you definitely need to understand the pattern of UPSC, and in this pattern you definitely need to revise the content that is there in your own notes. उसके लिए आपको रिवीजन कार्ड्स की जरूरत है. आज मैंने जो कुछ भी टॉपिक मैं आपको समझाया, ये टॉपिक एक बेसिक कंटेंट है जहां पे बाकी सारे चीजें समझ सकते हो आप. सो हियर what you need to do is, what are the content we have read, once you have to read this literature, उसके बाद आप इस रिवीजन कार्ड्स के ऊपर जाना है और इस रिवीजन कार्ड्स के थ्रू यू हैव टू रिवाइज इट मल्टीपल नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स, राइट. सो आपको कोई भी डाउट्स है, यू हैव माई कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर, यू कैन drop a message to my contact number. I'll personally reply to you. And if you would like to enroll in this particular course, the links are given in the description. You can go and enroll in that particular course. आपको कोई भी doubts है, our counselors are here. Our counselors will help you to solve any question that you have, right? So I will wind up this session for today, and tomorrow we'll be meeting again. Thank you and see you. If you do have any doubts, go to the YouTube description there and just post your comment. This is so what you can do is, you can go down and you can download all the revision cards from here, and any doubt you can look into these links and you'll get a reply back. Thank you, and we'll be meeting more often. We'll be seeing you tomorrow.